Your reaction to the strikes?
It was the right thing to do, in my opinion.
And why is that?
Because if it wasn't for Trump, then the Iranian regime would have attacked us first.
I think it's disgusting. It's just another Trump ploy to hurt people and distract from the Epstein files.
An absolutist sort of attitude in a situation that's so nuanced and delicate doesn't seem sustainable, and it doesn't feel like a positive step toward any type of resolution.
Do you worry about retaliation because we've seen the bases that were hit as well?
I'm concerned about the World Trade Center the most. You know, the new one with the tall pillar. I'm really concerned. I've been there a few times. I went to the top floor, and I'm nervous as hell.
This is an unprovoked U.S. attack. They were determined to do it. They were determined to provide all the weapons to Israel to also carry out the attack. And it is criminal beyond all belief. Iran was engaged in negotiations. The whole world knew that. And then came this attack.
Your sign says solidarity with Iran. You do know that there are Iranians right now that are celebrating what happened.
Oh, sure. There are monarchists that want the old corrupt system back of privilege, yes. But the Iranian Revolution, which called for nationalizing the oil and using it for the development of the whole country, that's what the U.S. wants back. That's what they want to reverse. They want to colonize every country of the world and do it at the point of a gun.
Do I love Iran's government? No, but I don't love Israel's government, and I don't love our government at this point. We're in a big crisis.
Someone said the first guy. I was like, wow, this is the IQ of someone who's a MAGA supporter? I knew it was bad, but damn. First guy was trying to remember what Fox News told him. Yo, look how many people like that. It's surprising that the elderly people are more informed than the young guy with the MAGA hat in the beginning of the video. I'm from the UK. The rest of the world is disgusted and angry at the US right now. Someone said the only proof that America has schools is the school shootings. Jesus Christ.
It is incredibly challenging to be an American right now. Not only did we launch a war with Iran this weekend, we are waking up to news of more mass shootings and casualties in this country, from Texas to Ohio. It is very difficult to even go one day without a mass shooting in this country. It is becoming so normal for us that it rarely makes the news across the world. We are not meant to withstand this kind of violence. We are not meant to have a front row seat to this trauma. But we are all having to do this. And it is taking a massive toll. We are seeing unprecedented levels of anxiety, of depression, of suicidality. Are we great again yet?
I think we were just brought into a front row movie of what Trump envisioned the world would be for a long time. The first time when he was impeached, it was cut short. That was like the intermission, and we didn't see the whole chaos yet. But now we're seeing it in full 4K, and it's not pleasant at all. The US president and his whole top administration are a danger for the entire world and should be in jail for many, many years. As an American, I am sick as to how corrupt and foreign controlled our government has become. I know how you all are feeling. Plus, I imagine everyone else around the world who's feeling the backlash of what's going on.
Watching the footage coming out of Iran this morning was horrifying enough, but then watching Trump's speech about it made the whole situation so much scarier. There is no plan for what happens next. This isn't even regime change. This is the first half of regime change. Usually with regime change, you have a successor picked out. You have a transition plan. We don't have that. Trump made that clear. We are attacking this country, destroying its infrastructure, and then telling 90 million people to figure out what happens next. I mean, the U.S. government has always done stuff like this, but we used to at least send in the CIA. Some spies would poke around, there would be a coup, and we would install a friendly regime. It was morally indefensible, but at least it was a plan. We can't even do conspiracies right anymore. All we're doing is taking out the Iranian regime and hoping that there's not a civil war in its place. This is psychotic. Also, we can't forget what it is this is costing. Not just in reputation, but actual dollars. Every time you see a missile hit a building, that missile cost $2 million. That's how much money we are spending on this. Just this morning, the government probably spent about $600 million. Just blown up. We like saying that this is our tax dollars at work, but that's kind of a lie. The U.S. government doesn't have tax dollars just sitting around. This is borrowed money. This is credit card spending. In a time when all we talk about is affordability, healthcare, rent, groceries. We're literally watching our money blow up halfway around the world, and we're getting nothing in return. Like I said, there's no plan here. Nobody knows what happens next. But we do know there will be a bill to pay, and it's going to come to us.
It's a distraction from the Epstein files that the administration didn't bother to think through all the consequences. The fact he called on the citizens to overthrow the government while they're being bombed is insane. There won't be any regime change. There will be a change on how the US is viewed. It's not looking good. The start of the year with Maduro, then the cartel, and then this, oh God.
US did not engage in war. Trump engaged in war. We told him to stop. We told him to sit his rabbit ass down. We still trying to deal with what he did in them damn files. And he over here starting war. Sit your ass down. Why does everything want to go to hell when I'm getting my life together? Now the world is in chaos. The world is in Armageddon. And I'm trying to get my...
I feel like a lot of Americans feel this way.
Donald Trump said that it's a great honor for American sons and daughters to go in the Middle East after he spent his life dodging the draft. And you know, it's even crazier. Apparently his own grandfather, German grandfather, fled Germany to also dodge the draft. So a family of draft dodgers is telling you it's an honor to give your life for the country as we're now going to war with Iran. If you don't see how hypocritical and crazy this is, you really have been led astray. You have drank the Kool-Aid. There is no reason on earth the United States is going to war with Iran. There is no benefit to the United States in going to war with Iran. There's no benefit. We right now are trying to take over Cuba because we're starving them to death. We've cut off all oil because they used to get their oil from Venezuela, and now everything in Cuba runs on oil. So the only way for them to survive at this point is that they're going to be forced to be taken over by the U.S. We are trying, and we want to take Greenland by force. We're starting all these wars, and this is who y'all call the president of peace. The peace president who just started a board of peace, who is stealing $10 billion from taxpayers in this country for this board of peace, and he's starting wars in Iran, Nigeria, forcefully taking over Cuba, forcefully trying to take over everything in Venezuela. If you don't see that you are being played by some rich people shuffling money, trying to make money for themselves, you have drank the Kool-Aid.
While he simultaneously takes away benefits from our veterans.
The U.S. losing a war to Iran floats like a rock in water, and I understand the sentiment, but hear me out. And no, this isn't me hating America. I was a naval officer and worked at the Pentagon for several years. Think about this a little bit more deeply. I think Hollywood has created this false sense of security and entitlement, and you got the Call of Duty bros that feel incredibly empowered all of the time in the comments section. But there's no doubt that the U.S. has a huge military. That's obvious with our defense spending. But what about sustaining the war? Okay, so we go in and we just blast up Iran, and what do? They're going to scatter off into the mountains. But then what happens is you have a long war. Then it comes about sustaining the war, sustaining America. How do you make a bullet? It's made mostly out of copper, at least the casing is. Have you seen copper prices lately? They're more than double what they were 2 years ago. Meanwhile, you have the dollar that is failing. You just used all of these munitions, you're going to have to replace them. Have you thought about rare earths? The rare earths, all of the metals that we import from China. How do you think that conversation's going to go when we need to resupply? Have you thought about how we have alienated nearly every single ally the United States has? And I'm not here to sway you one way or the other politically, that is your prerogative, but the fact remains that we're not going to have a lot of support. Have you thought about political polarization that is occurring? More than half of America is completely divided down the middle right now. There's even talks of civil war. That same narrative is going to be inside the military. You have admirals and generals right now who actively do not want to listen to orders. That polarization is going to be damning. The point being is, yes, we have a lot of things that go boom and we can absolutely flatten a country, but what is the viability if that war goes on for a sustained period of time? We don't have a dollar that is very strong. We can't even get along with each other at most of the time, and we don't have any friends abroad. So who really wins that war?
I mean, he's asking some great questions, but I want to know what y'all think about what's going on with the war. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out this video. I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to enjoy it. But nevertheless, I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.